watching a Youth TV, empowering you.
The times are back. The mighty university is back to polls. Who is the next guild president of MUST? MUST Guild decides 2022. Don't miss the exclusive coverage of this yet another historical election. Only on
A Youth TV, empowering you. You're watching a Youth TV, empowering you.
The times are back. The mighty university is back to polls. The exclusive coverage of this yet another historical election. Only on
A Youth TV, empowering you. TV, empowering you.
The times are back. The mighty university is back to polls. Who is the next guild president of MUST? MUST Guild decides 2020.
Yes, hello. It is just the 27th of January 2022, and still at Mbarara University of Science and Technology, one of the mighty universities in Uganda. We have been into this. This is what we call real politics at Mbarara University of Science and Technology. And now we are into the debates, the different guild debates, seeing who is the next guild president of Mbarara University of Science and Technology. Yes, we have very many people already here to support their candidates, to support their own candidates. People are basing on different things that they will base on to vote their real candidates. Others are out there watching live to get to know who is right for this game, who is the right candidate for this game. Yes, my name is Bridget Nsimenta, your host. I have been your host together with Mr. Sankara Byaruhanga throughout this, and we have been taking you through all this from the start, from nomination, then to the first debate, and then finally to this debate. We are still here with you, ready to give you your candidates, giving out, ready with your candidates. Hello. Yes, today we are having the final debate, and this will be fire. I know everyone out there is just waiting to see what these candidates have for us. To those who watched the first debate, I know it was very interesting. It was very interesting having four candidates battling up just for the first debate, and then now we are just curious. We want to know what they have for us. Any topic that will be discussed today, let it be about the policies of the university. We are just waiting to see how they are ready to defend us, how they are ready to represent the different interests of the students in the university. We have four candidates, and these are just to take you back to what we went through previously in the last debate and what has been going on. We have four candidates, and the first candidate is none other than Mugenyi Justice Chizito. That is the noob guy. Everyone is just waiting to see how this guy is going to carry out this time around. How is he going to carry it out? We have had very many aspirants and a noob from different universities coming up into this race. And then today is the day that we are going to be seeing what he has to present to us in regards to the students' interests. And then number two is none other than Muyanja Isaac himself, the man who is an independent candidate in this race, ready with his intelligent and brilliant ideas that he's going to share today. But still, it remains to the students, to the Mbarara students, to choose who is their next candidate this year. And then also the third candidate is none other than Kana Kambata. This is one of the most interesting people on this race, and I see very many people already in the room with green onto their heads, and that is the team for Victor Mugambe Kanakambata, one of the people that made the whole debate so interesting last time. And even right now, he has made himself a name. This nickname is going to sell him all over the university. But then still we are waiting. Today is another debate that is going to help us get the ideas about different aspects within the university. And then we can finally discuss, or we can finally decide who is the next Mast Guild president. And finally, we have another candidate who is very smart, and that is none other than Better Witness. Better Witness is a very good candidate. He's also very intelligent. And from this campus where we are right now, he belongs to the Faculty of Applied Sciences. Yes, that is first. And he also shared his ideas previously, but then now we want to see how he's going to build onto the ideas that he shared previously. He's a candidate that he is under NRM and he's very bold. So we are waiting to see how he's going to defend the interests of the students in this debate. As we are here, we are very expectant. We are enthusiastic. We want to know what these people have for us, which package they have for us. They all shared their manifesto previously, and yes, today is the day they have to defend it more and more and more. Every day is a day of adding more defense to what they have already built, to build what they built previously, and also to add more bricks onto their manifestos so that they can convince everyone out there to know what they are ready to do for the university. And yes, Mast is an institution that needs someone that is going to represent it out there, to represent the interests of the students, to be bold out there and represent the whole Mast fraternity in the council, outside, within the university. And that is the leader that we want. We want people who are going to base on reality and also act reality. And that is why we are here mainly. To the people who have been following us from the start up to now, to the people who are in the hall, in the auditorium, just right here in Chihumuro campus, you are all welcome, and thank you so much for giving us the audience right from the start up to now. And we are still doing it good and we are doing it very well just because of your support, just because of your time that you offer to us. It is empowering you in technology. That is none other than AET. And we are always here to serve you. If you have anything to be covered, just tap on us. We are doing live coverage for every function out there, and mainly only online. So just contact any of us. You can contact Mr. Sankara Biaruhangas. He is just right there next to the camera. You can contact me. You can contact anyone from AET just for your live coverage. We shall be just at your doorstep to cover all your events. And yes, still back to our second guild presidential debate. I know most of us are expectant. We are waiting to see what is going to take place here. As a person from AET TV, I know that we are bringing so much out there because people out there are very expectant. I see people are already into the show. They are waiting for their candidates online to see what they have for them. I will not waste much of your time because we have to start. I see we are into the time for the debate. I just pray the organizers just do chop chop and we start. Let me welcome Mr. Sankara to take one. You're welcome.
Okay, you who are watching AET TV, thank you very much. Yes, we are coming to you live from Chihumuro campus, and you who is joining anything from Mbarara University of Science and Technology, and it's your first time, then you need to actually know that this is the main campus of the second best university in Uganda. That is before you meet Professor. That is before you meet Professor. Sorry about that. That is going to be a very short technical glitch. But we are a Hit TV, and that actually does not always stay forever. Well, this is the second presidential debate of Mbarara University of Science and Technology. We are in 2022, and trust me.
You're watching a Hit TV, empowering you.
The times are back. The mighty university is back to polls. Who is the next guild president of MUST? MUST Guild decides 2022. Don't miss the exclusive coverage of this yet another historical election. Only on
A Hit TV, empowering you. You're watching a Hit TV, empowering you.
the times are back. The mighty university is back to polls. Who is the next guild president of MUST? MUST Guild decides 2022. Don't miss the exclusive coverage of this yet another historical election. Only on
A Hit TV, empowering you.
Okay, finally, we are going to be talking to you who is actually watching us live. We were a little bit messed up by a few technical glitches, and I'm telling you, we are only coming back to assure you that now there is no actually turning back. You're still watching a Hit TV. We promised, and we are now actually delivering. This is another part of exclusive coverage of, the 2022 MUST Guild presidential elections. I am Sankara Beruhanga, representing from the Might University Chihumuro campus. Now, like I told you in the previous debates, we are on the hunt of the 33rd. We are looking for the 33rd Guild president of this very university. The university started in 1989, quite a number of years over there, and we could only actually not expect any number beyond 33rd. We have 4 candidates that are actually taking on within this race, and I'm telling you, it is going to be very, very competitive with these 4 gentlemen actually tussling it out. In the first debate that we saw last week, we had a number of them actually airing out a few of those things that they believe they were about to do. And most of them, of course, echoed about a few kind of policies they're going to tackle, but majorly that in the first one was, focused on their personality as the people and who actually you need to actually vote. Now, this second debate focuses on policies. We are about to see them air whatever they share as their biggest, top-notch of what they will actually feature in their manifesto as their efforts towards, improving the policies of the university. Who has, a better plan for the university that can only be answered by today's debate, and that's another reason you actually do not need to go away. Now, looking at talking about a few policies that have always topped the list of Mbarara University of Science and Technology, one would actually think of the popular known as retake policy, but actually these examinations regulations, I would actually prefer to call them that. But most of them have always actually echoed concerns about the retake policy. We also had one candidate actually who tackled that, and that was Kana Kambata previously in the previous debate. Will he actually again echo that today? That can only be answered by us waiting and actually view this whole debate. But, well, there are other policies that perhaps one would need to pick interest in. Policies including tuition policy, for example. While what someone actually do not have to paid a certain percentage to sit examinations. We're talking about, end of semester examinations. This can only call for 100% of one's, clearance. And that is only when you qualify to sit exams. What do candidates actually have for the examination, rather for the tuition policy? When is actually one denied to sit examinations? Again, only be answered by you keeping around and watching this debate. Who has the better plan around that? Quite a number of policies, of course, that will be coming on board. I'm telling you, it is going to be very, very, very hot around. And in case we must think about something, then it should be maybe bringing in a fire extinguisher, some pair of fire extinguisher around, because we believe these guys are actually going to be tussling it out. I'm telling you. Now, you need to be worried about quite a few facts. You need to be worried about a few facts that within this race, one, we do not have any female guild presidential candidates. I'm telling you, within this race, we do not have any female presidential candidate. Why is that important? Because the last elections actually saw a female guild presidential candidate beating other, fellow counterparts that were actually gentlemen. And one would think maybe if we had another female in this race, perhaps that would be a very big statement that people actually needed to worry about. You who is watching us on YouTube, of course, we cannot stop thanking you. Maybe to update you what is on ground, judges are already here. Candidates, of course, a few of them are already in the house, with a number of people, of course, waiting to be, addressed. You who is watching us, you might hear me shouting, but trust me, it is not a calm mood at all in the auditorium room here from Mbarara University of Science and Technology, Chihumro. Quite a number of them, of course, shouting. I'm telling you, this is not going to be as easy as you may actually expect. Now, well, another fact is that these guys have had the shortest campaign period, I might say, having started within this very month, and we are only a few days away from, voting, and that, of course, has to worry you, because you want to believe that most of them are not actually going to get time to talk to electorates, especially those, various residencies, given the short period of time. But the other one is, this is the first also of its kind, with more than two national parties taking part in this guild race. And I'm telling you, it is never, taken for granted, because this time we have a candidate of NRM, National Resistance Movement. We also have a candidate for the National Unity Platform, but also a candidate from UYD, Uganda Young Democrats, and also a candidate that seems to think, well, that is not my area. Someone who thinks we can actually get this while we are independent? Well, of course, that gets to be a very, very, very open space for this candidate, because the university, at the end of the day, has no interest in who comes at, with which ticket or whatsoever. At the end of the day, the mantle goes back to students who are actually the voters and the bosses of actually this game. I'm telling you, you is watching, in case you are a Mbarara University student, then that is actually your mantle to select or vote your next guild president. I'm telling you, 34 minutes past the hour of 5. We were promised that the debate was supposed to start at 5, but I can authoritatively report that it is actually only yet to start, with judges in the house, but also the candidates, of course, getting around. Maybe the mood in the house, I could share with you that different candidates, of course, have different, ribbons within them. The UYD team, the NRM team, the NUP team, but also the independent team. Quite a number. I'm telling you, you need to be here to witness this. Now, as of course we think that we should be able to close this, you need also to get informed that the voting day, sorry about that, voting day is actually 4th Jan. 4th Feb, and that is certainly going to be next week. If I remember very well my calendar, then you need to know that this actually voting is around the corner. Maybe to again run through you a few facts. This year it is only 2 faculties that got representative that will appear on the ballot paper, and of course we're talking about the Faculty of Medicine sending 2 candidates, but also 2 other candidates coming from FAST. From medicine, we are talking about Comrade Justice and also Comrade Muyanja Isaac. But also from the FAST faculty, we're looking at Comrade Victor, Victor, who is who also actually goes by the some candidate the other time called that Monica, and this guy goes with the Monica of Kana Kambata, is another guild presidential candidate from the Chihumuro-based, campus. The other candidate from Chihumuro is called Better Witness, and who is also the flag bearer of NRM. I'm telling you, that is what must actually means. Not for every other campus, by the way, that you're going to have 2 candidates, candidates that are coming under different political parties. However, of course, we saw whether confirmed or unconfirmed the communication from NRM Secretariat saying they have actually not endorsed any guild presidential candidate, but we cannot confirm that source. It is only a trending snippet that we are actually viewing on different WhatsApp groups. Then we can only believe that rather those that should actually not be true, because we have an NRM candidate endorsed that is here at Mbarara University of Science and Technology. As I actually prepare to switch to the room, this is what actually every other candidate stands for, or this is what, or a brief profile of each candidate that we are only about to see. Well, we have Comrade Better Witness, who is a 4th year student, biomedical engineering, and also, of course, a guild presidential aspirant under NRM, former deputy prime minister, but also former GRC for Chihumuro Halls. Gents, Vuvuzelas, of course, Vuvuzelas start going in the room, and I'm telling you, this is about to get actually hot. Better Witness is currently the chairperson Chigezi Mbarara University Students Association. We are talking about Kimbusa, and also the outgoing General Secretary, Must Debate Society, but also former debate president at St. Paul's Seminary, who is also a former student at St. Paul's Seminary, Kabare, where he's actually spent the 6 years of high school. But before that, he went for Maria Goretti Preparatory School for 7 good years. Now, this is 2020 Students of the Year at Uganda Institute of Professional Engineers. I'm telling you, the house is only starting to, get noisy here and there. Different camps, of course, attacking here and there. You could hear the noise. Well, the other candidate is actually Mugambe Victor Kanakambata, who is also from Kila College Butiki before he came to Mbarara University of Science and Technology. But also, if you look at his profile, he actually went to Lugazi Homeland College, but also actually went to Lugazi Homestone School. I'm telling you, he does petroleum engineering at Mbarara University of Science and Technology. In his third year, the only candidate that is actually not a finalist in this. And also, he also got his name by himself, the ideological hooligan. That is candidate Victor Mugambe. Just as Mugenyi is another Ugandan who is 25 years old, a fourth-year medical laboratory student, and never been any active leadership position before, but has actually tirelessly helped and fought for the rights of the students, of course, with different achievements attached to him, including lobbying for LA, and of course also the retake policy strike that we lastly saw. Finally, we have Comrade Muyanja Isaac, who was a former GRC secretary. That was 2018, and chairperson Nkoba Zambogo 2019-2021, but also chairperson Corpus Christi of 2020-2021. Now with this, I should be able to get switching to the room where actually this is going to be happening, and trust me, you are about to watch a very, very pretty thing. I cannot, of course, go without thanking you who is going to be viewing us. In case you have a question, switch or comment it down here, and it is going to be read. Till, of course, we meet again, I'm going to switch now to the room where the debate is going to be actually taking place.
double-sided. Wait.
Alright, I'm not going that All right. Can we have silence? Can we have silence so that we can get through with this? Wow. Excuse me. Excuse me. If we don't have silence, then we shall delay our candidates. So let us hear from our first panelist and have their introductions.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kamugisha Andrew, a lawyer and also President Bishop Stewart. I've also been working at the General Court Martial under the Chieftain's Legal Services. I'm also working with Access that serves loans to public servants, and also a former brand ambassador of LaPeya. I'm glad to be part of the moderators that will be taking on this show. But I would like also to give this opportunity to my partner, who will also introduce herself and also give the rules of engagement. Otherwise, I would like us to maintain a little bit of silence so as we can listen to what our candidates are going to say and also see how policy review is important. Thank you so much.
Hello, I hope we are all fine. My name is Angel Abigawa, a lawyer and a moot coordinator, and I'm happy to be here. I pray for a calm environment so that we can able listen from one another. Thank you.
All right, and I think we are going to the most interesting part, where our candidates shall come and have their seats as we go on with the program. Ladies and gentlemen, our first aspirant to come, the man that calls himself the ideological hooligan, the duckling, Mr. Mugambe Victor, also known as Kana Kambata. Next, to take their seats from the same faculty at which we are right now, the we revolutionary, Mr. Beda Witness, to have a seat this side. All right. Next to take their seats, we shall have the railway revolutionary, Mr. Mugenyi Justus Chizito. And finally, we shall have the Toto man, Mr. Muyanja Isaac, taking his seat. And next we shall have our panelists take on the next part for today's debate. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Our candidates, you're very much welcome. So I beg for attention and you listen to how we shall handle the program. We shall have 5 policies that each candidate shall talk about. And each candidate shall be given 2 minutes to introduce themselves. Make sure you use the 2 minutes, talk about yourself. Then you will have a question from each policy, and the policies are as follows. That is health, tuition, retakes, security, and social media or communication. So me and my colleague shall ask a question from each of the policies. So we're going to begin with introductions, whereby each candidate shall use strictly 2 minutes. So we can begin.
Hello, hello, hello. So we are going to begin with justice till this ends. Okay. Eh,
Excuse me, please. Excuse me. Hello. Hello. Because each candidate has 2 minutes and everyone is having their own candidate, I beg we'll give them an audience so they can speak about themselves. Please. Thank you.
A very great leader and powerful leader in the names of Nelson Mandela once stated that the strongest weapon to overcome the challenges of this world is education. Ladies and gentlemen, this very evening, I'm here to make my modest contributions towards the education policy of this great university. Good evening to you all. Mugenyi Justus Kizito is my name, and I'm your next guild president. This Thursday evening, we gather here in this auditorium to have a discussion and make our submissions about the different policies in this university that are of student interest. The listed policies there are policies that arise after the bottleneck policy that I want to talk about has not been dealt with. According to Justus Mugenyi, the bottleneck policy that I want to first of all be implemented before talking about the 5 is a policy about decision making. Ladies and gentlemen,
It's time.
Justus Mugenyi wants to have an inclusive and consultative mode of approaching decision making.
Excuse me. It's time up. 2 minutes. Yeah. So, excuse me. One of the procedures is all agents of different political candidates. You want the August House and other members to listen. First, listen. To listen to the views of your candidates. When you make noise, they won't listen to the views of your candidates. So let's give them time so as they can introduce. Okay, next candidate. Each candidate has 2 minutes.
A good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In the times of chaos, in the times whereby people shout, in the times whereby ideas are not needed, the destiny of a great university lies on the shoulders of a young man. The young man's name is Mugambe Victor Kana Kambata. Now listen, guys.
1 minute remaining.
It's necessary for us as students of this university to embrace ideas and not noise. It's necessary, ladies and gentlemen, of this great university to embrace things that take us forward and not things that take us backward. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm introducing to you a man, and his name is... Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Let's welcome the next candidate.
Good evening, August House. According to a great leader by the names of J.F. Kennedy, without debate, without criticism, no administration can stand, no country can succeed, no nation can survive. Today we come here to debate policies, but to me, this should have been the first step. If this was the first step, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we wouldn't have some of these people. If this was the very first step we started with, we wouldn't have some of these people seated here. Today, we shall relegate people who don't know what it takes for a university to be where it is, who don't know where different policies are enshrined. Ladies and gentlemen, I am calling upon you to listen to me this evening as I tell you how everything that I stand for is properly enshrined in the policies, but also what needs to change. We are going to change it. I am a game changer! Game changer! Game changer! Game changer!
Okay, thank you so much. Let's welcome the last candidate. Okay. You can sit down.
Gallant students of Mbarara University of Science and Technology, a good evening to all of us, ladies and gentlemen. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we stand here on conviction of our past, and that is something nobody is going to separate from us. Ladies and gentlemen,
Order.
that the future of this institution of Mbarara University of Science and Technology and the issues affecting us today lies in the decision we take today. That is entirely based on the judgment, on the decision and the racking of our minds. For long we have been buried in the abyss of insurrection of our welfare. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we rise up on our feet. We rise up above our shoulders. We rise up above our conviction. And we are saying, under pressure, we do no longer rise to the occasion, but we sink to the level of our training. Ladies and gentlemen, Muyanja Isaac is the name. The Trailblazers are saying, now is the time. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Hello. So one of the things I was somewhat in the house, we are going to go on what we call policy debates. And we cannot have policy debates when you're not giving an audience to our candidates. One is that for any institution to run, it must have a leader who has effective policies and also policies that can be implemented. So, some order. If you want other people who are watching to vote for our leaders, let them speak when they're being given a calm environment. So I'm begging of you, let's give them ample time because we are going to have the audience also ask them questions on policy review. But, hello, I'm begging of you all have the support of our candidates, but let's give them the audience.
So, like I had said, there are 5 policies. So the candidates will have a question from each policy. So I'm going to talk about the health policy, and I want to interact with each of you. So to begin with witness, talking about health policy, I would like to ask you, mental illness is among the most painful and stigmatized diseases and caused by various situations, as we all know, for example, relationships or family background. So how best as a student leader will you improve that, being alive to the fact that mental illness affects our academic excellence? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think when we start talking about mental illness, that kind of talk relegates someone who stands for Wewe. That kind of talk relegates someone who stands for any other thing other than me, a gentleman that has a manifesto that addresses the day-to-day needs of the students. So it is properly enshrined in my manifesto what approaches we shall use to deal with mental health. It is point 4 on my mega point called health. Mental health is something that affects so many university students due to the different activities we do behind there. The relationships we participate in. Some people will go and do drugs. Some people will have different addictions. So it is very key that we actually talk about mental health. And my approach is actually that of creating safe spaces, that of actually telling people the university has a counselor, the university has collaborations with other companies, with other organizations that are very willing to address, that are very willing to come for us, to come to our rescue, to create safe spaces for us to thrive as students. That is something you need if you are to bring out your best. People are getting retakes because they are sitting for exams while they are depressed. So when it comes to discussing such good ideas, I'm sorry my friends here will be relegated, but we stand for proper health, good health, wellness for our students, and we shall chase that until the last minute. Thank you very much.
Excuse me. Thank you so much, witness. Each candidate shall use 3 minutes to answer the question. I beg we listen from them. So, Victor, the next question is you. We are all alive to the fact that there is a pandemic, and so our country was able to put up a regulation that requires each person of the age of 18 years and above to get vaccinated. Nonetheless, we are also alive to the fact that the different vaccines have side effects, and so some of us have hesitated to have them. So as a student leader and a requirement to the university, how best will you ensure full vaccination amongst the students? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now that question is actually key because most people want to be vaccinated, but they fear to get vaccinated due to the side effects which may come up. Now what we can do as student leaders is to mobilize people and show them the positives in doing vaccination. That is the first point. Now, body in this institution.
Thank you so much. We shall have an overview at the end of the discussion. So I just asked the next question. We agree that a university has various policies and different activities that take place. So how best would you as a president balance between health spending commitments to match them better to the resources we have as the university, along with other competing needs. I'm saying the university always has a lot of programs. So I'm asking, how best would you as a president balance health spending commitments to match them better to the resources we have to meet them, along with the other competing needs of the university?
Well, I think the hello. Now the question is that how, as a guild president, manage to lobby and solicit for funds outside the guild budget. Is that what you mean? Yes. Now, a guild president, no, listen, a guild president.
I beg your pardon? Excuse me. I beg your pardon? I'm going to repeat for you the question one more last time. The question is, please listen. How best would you as the president rebalance health spending commitments to match them better to the sources we have as the institution, along with other competing needs of the university?
Now, as a guild president, what I front first as a guild president is I first of all prioritize what is first. You realize, yes, as a university will always have very many things to spend on. But as a guild president, I do think we have to first of all front first things first. And what is first things first? First things first is that, first of all, the essence as to why we are here in this university is education. As a guild president, I will make sure that the first expenses go to what will facilitate all students to enable them get better education. To start with, we are in a university whereby we don't have services that enable students to excel academically. Listen to this. You realize we always have combined classes of more than 150 students. For example, in this auditorium. But you realize that none of these lecture halls has a public address system. But this has been a very big problem. This has been a very big problem. Now listen, this has been a very big problem in that the university has always failed to give the right services that enable students to excel academically. But to start with, why would I be in an institution and I even fail to get Wi-Fi, which is a requirement for me to have online lectures? So the question to that answer is that,
You have 1 minute.
The question to that answer is that, as a guild president, I will prioritize what I think is first for the student to excel academically.
The last candidate, Isaac. We are alive to the fact that we are entitled to basic needs as people. We are alive to the fact that we are entitled to basic needs as people. And if I may say, a condom is a basic need to an adult male person, right? We are alive to the fact that we all need basic needs as people. And if I may say, a condom is basic to a male adult person, much as a sanitary pad is basic to a girl child. So as the president or as a student leader, how would you ensure equal distribution without discrimination of the two to your students? Thank you.
Thank you so much, the moderator. So the question is about ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen have their basic needs. We are saying this is not a case of debating mangoes and oranges. This is a case of giving the ladies what they deserve. It's a case of giving the gentlemen what they deserve. There is no go in between. We are saying a case in point is if we are talking about, I guess those were just examples of basic needs, or you want me to stick to those? Okay, thank you. I will stick to them. So as ladies would need such services, the issue is about making sure the availability is matching the demand. Supply has to match. Demand has to be based on the supply, and the supply therefore has to face the demand. A case in point here in Chumuro, we have our ladies who reside in these areas of residence here, but access even the services we've talked about, they have to spend much more than they cost to access them. Why don't we functionalize the canteen that is packed with rotten furniture? Why don't we make sure that the canteen or any service that they need is available to those students here? Our town campus, the same case. So if you ask me, that is my submission. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have finished one policy of health. We are going to the policy of tuition. This question goes to Justice. We are all aware of the fact that we have been in hard times of COVID. Most of our guardians and parents have not been working. And what is your policy to the disadvantaged students who cannot afford tuition, but they want to move with the rest of the students to access the same services as the rest of the students?
To start with, my plans about tuition policy, it's very, very regrettable that just last semester, in these unprecedented times of COVID-19, the university still insisted that students who hadn't paid 100% full tuition shouldn't sit for examinations. That is very wrong. That is very wrong. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just as Mugenyi, I am saying that the university should always allow students who, even if have paid at least 50% of the tuition, should be allowed to sit for examinations. Why? Why am I saying that? The university has a guarantee. The university has guarantee and security. And what is that? Students want to graduate or get their transcript if at all they don't complete their dues. That's the guarantee the university has. Now, someone can ask me, how will the university run if at all students pay only 50%? The answer is this. Most of us here, 90% of all of us here, haven't paid tuition, but you're having lectures. What does that mean? What does that mean? I mean, the university can run even without your money. How the university runs is, it makes requisitions to the government through the Ministry of Finance. And it's that money that facilitates the activities of the university. When we students pay money, this money goes to URA, and then it compensates the government. So I'm here to tell you that even without your money, the university can still run. Majority of us, many of us here, always pay money 1 week to examinations. But this university still insists that if you haven't cleared 100% full tuition, you are not meant to sit for examinations. That is very wrong. Unprecedented times call for changes. Now, to also remind you, for starters, Justice Mugenyi is the founder of a charity association called Harambe Campaign. Listen, Harambe Campaign is something that I initiated after realizing that majority of my friends were always missing out to sit for examinations just because of incomplete balances. I took the initiative as Justice Mugenyi, and I went ahead to always solicit for them funds. As I talk now, Harambe Campaign has 3 students on full scholarship. We have 6 students on half bursaries. I can, lastly, about my fees policy. I want to tell you that Justice Mugenyi has had several engagements with the administration, especially the academic register. We need a friendly guild president who will always intervene in every situation of the student.
Time up.
Just last semester,
Time up.
I managed to help 2 students by talking to the academic register to allow them to be provisionally registered. We need a guild president who will always at least negotiate. We shall always negotiate with these people. We shall always negotiate in a way that as a guild president, I can stand in for these students.
Time up.
And they become their collateral. Thank you very much.
Time up. Thank you so much. This question goes to candidate Victor. Victor, you're aware that most of the policies that are introduced in most universities do not solve majority of the students' problems. What policy could fundamentally solve the issue of tuition and help a balanced community, not discrimination of students without tuition? What policy can majorly and fundamentally take away the issue of discrimination of students who don't have tuition?
Now, thank you so much for that wonderful question. In our manifesto, which is called the formula, we have a strategy. Now, having a policy which you have said which fundamentally removes all problems of students, that's impossible. Let us be realistic. I want us to focus on a strategy which can solve that. And here it is. That strategy talks about us as the guild government having tenders. Listen, it's strategy number 5. A strategy of having a policy of the guild being considered in granting tenders to supply goods and services. Listen. Now listen. How does this help? Imagine if the university was able to give us tenders, let's say worth 5 billion shillings, just 5 billion shillings. This is what happens. To the students, those who have problems of getting tuition, thank you. Those who have problems getting tuition, they will have capacity to start up businesses here at campus. That is point number 1. We are not just making noise. We are giving ideas. Number 2, if we have a policy of government which allows students who are disadvantaged to start up and start supplying, for example, toilet papers. Why wouldn't students supply things like toilet papers? Things like what? Why shouldn't students do that? The question is and still remains, we have to make sure that students are involved in business here, and then they will have the tuition to pay for themselves. There is nothing more we can do. And maybe to make this very clear, there is no policy in the world which can remove each and every problem and the world remains balanced. Impossible. Prove me wrong.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much. At this time, I want to welcome witness. This question goes to you. We have had challenges. One, the first is that tuition is a big problem. And the reason why we talk about tuition is that it has been a reason why most people drop out. Now, what policy could reduce the dropout of students while tackling tuition? What policy do you have?
Thank you very much. So the policy that actually our own policies that we already have on tuition can be bent well enough to accommodate all students for them to stay in campus. You can bend all the policies that we have listen to me. Listen to me. This is what I'm saying. If, for instance, you bend the current policy that we have, whereby someone is supposed to have paid 100% by the time they sit for their final exam, and bend it to a point that someone who has paid, let's say, 80% is going to sit their exams, and maybe before they actually access their results, they are able to pay that amount. Someone who has paid 80%. That will, what I'm suggesting is much different from what Justice suggests. Justice suggests that the tuition would rather accumulate and someone fail to graduate or graduate and not get results. But me, I am saying we can get these people for every semester. They bend the law to the point that you can sit your exam, then you are supposed to pay that little portion by the time you enter the next semester. It's a very friendly one. Very, very friendly one. It does not allow accumulation of money to the point that you will graduate and not get a transcript. What a wastage of time in school for you to graduate and not access your transcript. So, parents, we can actually bend the policies that we already have, the current tuition policy, and make sure our people stay in school. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. I want to welcome Isaac with the last question on the policy of tuition. Okay, just as this goes to you. We have had scenarios where we find that students' tuition has been misplaced, or sometimes students have paid and the money is not reflecting. And you find that since this is a government institution, we have a lot of influx of students who don't have these services where to pay their tuition from. What other policies can you put in place so as that accessibility for services to pay tuition is equivalent to everyone and accessed by everyone easily? Some order.
Speaking about talking about tuition policy, we are talking about section 2.2 of every student's joining instruction. This is where we are talking about how our tuition is supposed to be paid. We are talking about students failing to access services they have a right to, a right that is inalienable, a right whereby every student, regardless of the faculty where they are supposed to access the due service. We are talking about people who belong to every faculty. We are talking about people who belong to these respective faculties, and every faculty has a finance officer. People have access to reference numbers, and once these reference numbers have been accessed, they are able to pay the tuition. Every time we have glitches in the system, the issue is never about the students, but about the proprietors.
Some order.
But the issue is always about the proprietors of the system. Today we are talking about students failing to do the exam. In a letter dated Tuesday, September 28, 2021, we advocated for students to do exams with a tuition waiver. And trust me, not more than 2, not more than 3, not more than 4, but a good number of us were able to do end of semester exams without fulfillment of all the 100%. Here is the evidence. Ladies and gentlemen, about moving forward, the policy is there. We only need to make sure that we function like it, and that is what the trailblazers are here to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So we are going to the next policy. Can we have order, please? So we are going to the next policy, and I'll begin with Justus. We are going to the social media stroke communication policy. The question, as we are all aware of the pandemic that has been going on for the past year, and education was majorly online. I'm alive to the fact that not all of us have smartphones and can actually have the data, but we are all here for a common cause. How best will you ensure that we attain the same education vis-a-vis challenges of data or a smartphone?
Well, abnormal times call for adaptation. About social media and the issue of online lectures, the answer is it's very, very unfortunate that up to now, even after we students always have an agreement with the university to always have physical lectures, even in times whereby we have come for physical lectures to campus, the university still, some lecturers are still insisting for students to have online lectures. Why is the problem? The problem is that amidst that directive from other lecturers that to have online lectures, they are failing to provide even the smallest service, and that's Wi-Fi. In a University of Science and Technology, we even fail to access Wi-Fi, yet these services are duly paid for. And then, some silence. Another thing, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to remind you that all the directives that come from the university, all the commands that come from the university are commands that are just directed, imparted on the students without their consent. When we were in the lockdown and we got abrupt circulars from the university calling us for online lectures, none of the students was consulted. But I have a belief that if at all we students were first of all consulted, students would raise their concerns. And the concerns that you have just talked about, others don't have phones, others don't have data. How about if the university goes an extra mile of even providing data to students? Because it's achievable. It's achievable. Some other universities have done that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Isaac? 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 So, what would be your position about the same? As a student leader, what would be your position about the same? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, about the same, we are talking about access to quality education. The issue here, online learning is favorable in a University of Science and Technology. But we are saying, how do we make it effective? Some universities, a case in point, we are talking about...
Hello. You will have a cross-counter arguments with him after this session. Yes, you are going to have that exchange later. Let him answer.
Ndeje University, as a case in point, was able to bankroll all its students throughout the pandemic in order to allow them to access online studying. We are saying we pay 50,000. Every student pays a paltry 50,000 for information and technology. Every student pays 120,000 every year for book bank. What is the book bank doing, for Christ's sake? The book bank is supposed to have e-library. E is electronic. Why don't we channel some of these funds in order to finance and give back to the students so that they can be able to access the quality education? I know these people are listening, and these people are going to take a decision, and we are going to make the rightful judgment. So, ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, issues about students should from today onwards be solved by students in the interest of the students and for the students. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Isaac. Victor, the next question is yours. We agree that an institution always has a lot of bureaucracy. Information from the vice chancellor to the class president moves through a lot of corners. Sometimes by the time it gets to the final person, that is a student, it is duplicated. So how best will you ensure effective communication right from the vice chancellor to the student? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Now, effective communication involves clarity. We have to be realistic as we discuss these issues. If the Vice Chancellor wants, for example, to give us information, there are very many avenues, and I'm going to give you 3. Number 1, notice boards. These are simple questions, by the way. You just want to make them complicated. Number 2, our student emails. Number 3, we can use digital media. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen. Information will always pass through from the VC to us and duplicated if we can have those 3. These are simple questions which we insist on making complicated. Kana kambata.
Thank you so much. And then finally, witness, we agree that social media is one of our happinesses and we use it the way we want. Some of us shall use it for co-curricular activities, some of us shall use it for education purposes, and some of us shall even watch the irrelevant. And you know, it is a personal thing. So we agree that the internet is actually a foundation to some of the wrong things that we do. But again, it is personal. So how best will you ensure that it is effectively used? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think this question is directed to the right place because of all these people, it is only me with a Facebook page. It is only me with a Facebook page. This is because I want to use social media constructively. There is a lot of power that is within social media which we can harness for our own benefit. Gentlemen, we usually see different politicians in the country communicate to the entire country via social media. Via social media, very simple. We can even have I'll be the kind of guild president that communicates through the social media to the students I serve. So I believe you can use social media to pass on even some of our information that we really want to pass the students community. So I think this question is directed to the right person. We can use social media for our own benefit as students. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go to the next policy. We are only remaining with only 2 policies. That is security and retake. So the next policy is retake. Hello. So the next policy is about retakes, and I will begin with none other than candidate justice. So we all. Hello. Let's have some silence. So justice. We have had issues of students having retakes within the academic arena. But most of the times, even when students do those retakes, it's due to the fact that some lecturers don't take record of the marks of students. How effective or which policy do you have that the academics of students are well followed and kept up? Keeping to the fact that as we speak, MOOP students lost their results. And some of them are likely to have retakes because of online exams. Which policy do you have in position? Hello, let's have some silence.
To start with, allow me to talk about the unfairness in the implementation of the retake policy. Last academic year, we had about 84 students who were told to stay put just because they had failed 15%, but these are retakes that were gotten in subsequent years. Now, the 2006 amended exam policy says for someone to get a dead year or to be told to stay put, he or she should have gotten 15% in an academic year. But in an urge whereby someone fails 15% in 2 subsequent academic years, like it happened in last semester, these 84 students were told to stay put, but with unjustifiable reasons. I'm talking about the fairness of the implementation of the policy. These students were told to stay put without proper justifications. But to start with, allow me let us first of all know why students get retakes. As the guild president, I do believe there are small basics that a guild president is supposed to do for someone to first of all excel academically. Before someone gets a retake, and maybe we should know about whether the policy to be reviewed or not, we should first of all tackle how did this person get a retake. The learning modules, the learning process that students go through is not something that we always have classes. I'm here to tell you this. Listen, we always have classes of more than 200 students, but lecturers always manually speak. Now you realize half of the class never be attentive. What is wrong with at least procuring a public address system for all lecture rooms? These are the causes. These are the causes of why some people get retakes. Let me also remind you this. It's very, very saddening to learn that even up to now, some of us are in different academic years, but we don't have results of the previous academic year. Now, these are the small basics. These are the small basics as a guild president that you're first of all supposed to tackle. Now, what remedy can I have for students whose results are always getting lost, that are not always implicated in their portal? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the students of Mbarara, they are not protected by the administration. We have got very many students who always have grudges with lecturers, and these lecturers always transfer their grudges to cripple their results. But as a guild president, I am thinking of this. How about we reform the policy of examinations? Because here at Mbarara University, the same lecturer who teaches you is the same lecturer who sets an examination, is the same lecturer who marks your examination, is the same lecturer who transfers it to the portal, which is very wrong. In other institutions, a lecturer who teaches you is different from the one who sets an examination, meaning a student is protected. If I have a grudge with you as a lecturer, I won't have a chance to mark your
time up.
Now, the reason as to why I'm trying to give you a preamble of why students are not protected is because the lecturers who teach us always do the donkey work. From teaching you to putting the results in the portal, meaning if they have grudges with you, they'll always implicate it on the portal, which is very wrong. The system has to change. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So this question goes to Victor. We all know that students have been doing online exams, and the students are getting retakes not because that they don't know what they learned. It's because the means of the universities that it used weren't effective. What policy do you have for the university? For example, if another pandemic happens and online exams are admitted, yet students have not been effectively taught, which policy do you have that can address effective learning so as students don't get high rates of retakes in the academic year?
Now, time for noise has stopped. Let's give ideas. Let me first assert myself. The carelessness of the administration should not be transferred to the students. No, it shouldn't. They have asked me for a policy. Number one, if we do online lectures, why not online exams? Why not? So we are saying we are not going to remain silent. We are going to raise our voices as students until we get the mass that we want. Going back to the policy, how about if the university decides to give us data? Why not the university give us the things that we need for effective learning? The hotel policy has been in place. How has it worked? Let us be realistic and let us get the mass that we want. I'm here to assert again that the problems and the mistakes of the administration should not be transferred to the students, because the students have a right to do what they have to do. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you that the mass that we want, the mass that we believe in, the mass that we ought to have is coming. The next generation of leaders is here with us. Let's rise together and let's get the mass that we want.
Okay, this question goes to witness. We are aware of the fact that students generally cutting across all universities, most especially there has been an increase in retakes. One is that the university has combined exams and post-works in a shortest time period. Which policy do you have so as that time is given well for students to prepare well enough? And academically, which policy do you have to address so as that we can narrow down the issue of retakes that happens in institutions?
Thank you. To begin with, noise without content can be really a major turn-off. Noise without content is a major turn-off. Let me give you a feel of content. Okay? Let's get a feel of content. My manifesto talks about how to make decision making that has everything to do with academics very inclusive of the students. That is a point on my manifesto. Academic decisions shall be made with inclusion of the students, because this affects all of us. So that the university, that the office of the academic registrar can sit there and they design timetables and they present timetables to us is really unfair. That is the reason we have retakes. That is the reason there are so many retakes in this pandemic. These people don't feel with us. They don't care about us. So my approach to this is that decisions that have something to do with academics should be made in inclusion of the students. This can be done by having a strong student advocate, because a strong student advocate who is the guild president will represent the students' interests on the Senate. So my approach to this is to make sure that decision making up to the level of Senate is inclusive of the students. Thank you very much.
Okay, lastly, I pose a question to Isaac. So Isaac, there is a general burning issue about retakes. One is that the issue of how retakes are being awarded and the following assessment of these retakes. One is that some students are ill-assessed, others retakes come in as arguments. For example, leaders who are not in conformity with the policies of what the university needs.
as a student leader, how best are your values that even students, when they rise to represent their voices, they are not given retakes, but retakes are awarded on academic merit, not on personal conflict with lecturers? Hello? Hello, some order.
The irony is when the so-called total loss is speaking, they listen. So, ladies and gentlemen, about the retake policy, we are talking about 2.6.1 of the examination policy of 2006. And the retake policy, for some of us who may not be aware, we are saying if a student has failed up to 15%, if a student has failed up to 50% of the courses offered that year, they may be allowed to proceed the next year, but are required to redo the exam. And then maybe when they fail more than, they may stay put. But for me, about the retake policy, these are my grievances, and these are the grievances of the trailblazers. We are saying everything about students needs to be done in the interest of the students. Nothing unprofessional. Nothing unprofessional needs to stand between the way of students and lecturers. A case in point, last academic year, towards the end of the last semester, we had students of this faculty being subjected to doing exams barefooted. Barefooted. That is something that was unacceptable. You know how much psychological impact that can really have? Those are some of the issues, unprofessional, that we always have to fight for. Why would a student who has been made to stay put be subjected to paying more of a retake fee, and yet they are paying functional fee? We are dissecting issues and they are not failing to listen. We are saying, ladies and gentlemen, we always need to engage ourselves through general assemblies. We said that, and we are going to push for issues about us, and we are going to achieve all these issues within the shortest time possible. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mbarara University.
We are getting to the last policy.
I'm going to request the team to really take our seats and show these people what we do. So I request the team to take their seat. Thank you.
We are going to the last policy. I hope we are ready for the last policy. So this is the security, and I will begin with witness. Witness, the question, how best will you address the issues of police brutality and racism in the criminal justice system of the university? And this goes to the student security. We know of theft among the students themselves, where they reside, or even the students and residents. So how are you going to handle that?
I'm sorry. Unlike the previous speeches, I'll use a lot on this one. Because unlike the previous speeches, I'll use a lot on this one. Because I first thought of standing as guild president, the time I lost my personal brother, more like a personal brother due to insecurity along the Tasso Katete Road. That's the time I first thought of running as a guild president. I'll use a lot on this one. I am very passionate about issues to do with security. It's one of the major things that actually brought me to this race. It hurts me that under the same circumstances which we lost our own people, under the same circumstances under which my personal friend got hurt, got a cut here and she has a scar, under the same circumstances under which I lost my very good friend and OB for 4 years, with whom I hope to reunite with at campus and only so for 1 year. They are the same circumstances we are still living today. I am very passionate about solving the security challenges of Mbarara University. I am very passionate about solving the security challenges of Mbarara University. Even if it involves students attacking fellow students, if you are a student and you're the attacker, I have no business with you. If you're the student and you're the person that attacks fellow students, I have no business with you. When it comes to security, it gets very personal. That's why I use this kind of tone. We need a secure Mbarara University. We need a secure Mbarara University of Science and Technology in our residencies. For security and other reasons that are very pertinent to our stay as Mbarara University, please vote better witness. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Isaac, but next question is yours, Isaac. So, as we are all in this same place, we are certain of the fact that it is not fenced and the bushes are so tall to accommodate us. How best will you ensure the fencing of the place and the bushes are cleared on time?
It's funny how candidate bear witness with these yellow posters and the flag is standing to talk about security. Today, we are having so many of our brothers and sisters languishing in prisons. Today, we are having so many of our people being brutalized by the regime which is subscribed to. It is so unfair and impersonal. Ladies and gentlemen, about issues of security, in Mbarara University of Science and Technology, it will be a wild goose chase if anybody told you to go and locate a CCTV camera anywhere. That is Mbarara University of Science and Technology. We are saying about the bushes here, every time we are having graduation, every time people are reporting, the bushes are down. When you look on this end, we're having bushes. When you look on this end, where officers of the administrators, every bush is cleared. That is why I'm saying, that is why we are saying as students, that matters of students should from today onward be about students. We need those bushes down. We are having tall bushes on top of having an under-facilitated and under-equipped clinic. What happens if someone is attacked? Issues about fencing. That is something we should have thought about at inception. We said last time that this university, this campus, was supposed to be at full capacity by 2022. Today we are talking about 2020. By 2020. Today we are talking about 2 extra years. What is it that the administrators are doing apart from enjoying cool rides, having fancy homes, having fancy offices, and apart from letting us have issues about us without giving us the due solutions? We are coming out strong as the trailblazers, and we are saying this is stopping and this needs to stop with immediate effect. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. At this juncture, this question goes to candidate Victor. The issue about security. We are well aware that in 2020, one of the students was killed along that university. And one of the policies that students at both Chumuro and the other campus live late at the library. What policy do you want to put in measure that the security of students going back to campus after preps and also coming back is guaranteed both at the university and their residencies?
Well, it looks like the trailblazers caught ablaze and are standing to ashes. But that's not the point. Ladies and gentlemen, I was there. I was there when that student was killed. I think we had just reported. Yes, we are just reported. Please, please. We have ideas, we don't have noise. Please. Please, please, please. All right. Now I want to tell you that issues of student security are issues of national importance. We should first understand that and put it at the back of our minds. What happens is this. In our housing policy, whereby we are talking about housing of students, the reason as to why a student may get such problems is that where he stays and the university, they don't have a coordination. There are no street lights. Those things are not there. Now, my campaign manager was beaten and robbed when he was coming from Revi Corner going to Chianja. What happened is this. Listen. What happened is because where he stayed, first of all, the student guild did not know. The student guild did not know. We make transactions between the guild government. We make transactions between me and then the hostel owners. Now what happens is that there is no where the university or the student guild comes in. The student guild should come in and say, if you are to house mass students, you must have security. That's the point. You must have a fence. You must have these kinds of people around. You must have this kind of environment. So that's what we are talking about. The issue stems from where we stay. The issue stems from the people we work with and the people we stay with. I'm saying that in the must we want government, each and every student will be known. We shall have a database to have and know where each and everybody is, such that we follow and we keep you safe. Me myself personally, Mugambe Victor, I cannot sleep well at night knowing that my friends and my fellow students are not well. Their security is not confirmed. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want the best mass, if you want the master of the people, if you want the master of all of us, please vote for Mugambe Victor. Kana Kambata.
Okay. Lastly, we shall have justice. So, justice, we believe by the representation of your ballot, you have your support of National Unity Platform. Students that affiliate to NUP have had discrimination from the university. 2, they have been ill-treated in protest by the university, for example, like Shamim. 3, we believe that every student is entitled to political freedom rights. As a new or if you're elected as a guild representatives, what will happen or how will you advocate respect for political rights? 2, that everyone can effectively fight for their rights and also effectively be represented at all affiliations, both at the council level and also at students' body, even though they belong to different political parties. Thank you so much. Hello, candidate.
Well,
I wanted to first address the issue that from the audience. Why I asked him that question was to generally collectively argue those issues that are being raised from the political affiliation, so as he can answer it. Thank you.
Now, to start with, partisan politics was initiated at Mbarara University in 2017. Before, we didn't have partisan politics at MUST. The fact that it's just a growing culture at Mbarara University, I think, as Justice Mugenyi, with time, that's if at all the people we put in office as guild presidents better represent the ideologies of these political parties. The political party I stand for is National Unity Platform. And it's a political party of the youth, the generation. And it's a political party that stands on an ideology that the rights of the students shall always matter at no cost. It's very true. It's very true. I can testify. I, Justice Mugenyi, have been on several occasions intimidated because of this. But as a Ugandan, I do think I do have the political right to affiliate myself to any political party, to identify myself to any political party that I think has the same ideology that I have. So, at most, of course, yes, what I think is it's all about putting the leaders that you think will better represent the ideologies of that political party. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much. So at this juncture, we are going to welcome strictly 4 questions from the audience. First listen. And one that we are going to have 2 ladies and 2 gentlemen. Yes? So,
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, everyone who is listening to me. I'm so sorry, let me just get in front because my question. To every candidate who is contesting, everyone talked about academic as the first priority. I'm sure everyone in this audience, we all know we came to Mbarara University for academics. So I didn't hear anyone talking about anything apart from academics. I'm the Miss Mbarara University 2021. I contested, wait.
let's respect everyone's opinion. Yes.
First, with Honorable Justice, you came here and promised us about the 50% of the tuition. That is normal because we've done it every day. The Miss Mbarara University, I contested, I passed through. I've never received, I'm replying. I passed through, this is 1 year in office. There is no evidence. Look, there is nothing I've ever earned from that post. So how will I tell, okay, how will I advise the other candidate? How will I advise someone else? How will I advise someone else who is coming?
What's your question? What's your question? Let's be a little bit be straight to the point. What's the question?
Okay, all the candidates contesting.
What's your question?
The question is,
in summary,
okay, everyone here talked about academics.
guys, let's give her attention. Let her give her summary.
Everyone here, like among the 4 candidates,
Okay. Myers, you can pick another person. You can pick another person. Okay. Okay, as she's giving her point, let all people in the audience give their questions. Myers, someone has a question over there. Myers. Okay. The gentleman. Okay. They wanted them to come.
Well, the lady who has just spoken, the lady's question and concern is that she's the missed must. She's the missed must, but she's trying to find out what has she benefited as missed must. Now, just as Mugenyi, I have a package. First of all, I want to restructure and reform the social affairs ministry. We can't have one individual who is thinking about John Black, at the same time is the same individual thinking about culture and religion. Social affairs should be redefined. We should have a specific budget. We should have a specific package for events, social events, and we should have a specific package for culture and religion. You realize the three things are always intertwined and mixed together. That's why most social affairs ministers always fail to juggle all the three. To me, I do think the social affairs ministry, more so the social events, has to be a little bit
time up. So the question was for every candidate. And we are saying, as the trailblazers, Miss Must and Mr. Must, these are supposed to be ambassadors. Mr. and Miss Must go through a process that eventually crowns them Mr. and Miss Must. What are some of the opportunities that lie ahead of them? At the end of the day, these are not just Mr. or Miss Must. These are people holding our flag as Mbarara University of Science and Technology. Right. Which opportunities are we granting them? Where are we linking them? There are always events happening at national level. Do we facilitate them to go? This is what you need to tell them. Do we facilitate them to go at East African level? When they are participating, how do we package them? Do we give them gym services? Do we get them trainers? These are basics we are supposed to look at. And that is what Total Man and the Trailblazers are talking about. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Mercy, I appreciate your content. Beauty Queen, I appreciate your concern. And to be honest, I think becoming Miss Must should be something that should open your opportunities to the rest of the world. I understand from here you went and contested for some beauty pageant. Kindly tell us. She contested for Miss Greta Chitala. I think that was the time the university was supposed to come in. The Students' Guild was supposed to come in. Ewan Dyson participated in a similar event. They participated in a similar event. And I remember I was actually the person that was rooting for Ewan Dyson when he participated. And thankfully he won. I was not so much in touch with her, but I helped Ewan Dyson continue and extend his contestation in the beauty pageants. So I am someone who is passionate about helping our next beauty queen come and make it to the next level. I am passionate about helping our beauty queens make it to the next level. Thank you very much.
So you were in the government, but you couldn't help her. By the way, you shouldn't support him. He was in the government. He couldn't help you. But that's not the point. This is it. I'm the current president of Ability Entertainment. I own online televisions. The issue is about exposure for people like you. You are Miss Must, so you will get exposure. Go to media. Let ATV host you. We are talking about things which are possible. Just get media for you. You can even become Miss Uganda. You can become Miss Universe. It's possible. You can make it. I believe in you and I believe in people of Must. That's what we are talking about. So ladies and gentlemen, let's support such people. They represent us. Thank you so much.
Time done. Please, the audience, ask a question to one candidate. Okay.
All right. We already have someone with a microphone, and I'm picking another person from the guys who are behind.
Yeah, thank you. My question goes to the candidate who has been serving the previous government, the candidate who has been the deputy prime minister, the candidate who comes from this same faculty, who knows that here at Sumro we have food issues regarding monopoly by Buffalo. So I want to ask that candidate, in his term of service with the previous government, what steps have they taken to solve that problem? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I am someone who is very passionate about my faculty's challenges because I am a resident here. When there is no food, I have no food. When it is insecure, I am insecure. When there is no water, I have no water. When there is no electricity, I have no electricity. I was a GRC, I was a deputy prime minister, but that only kept me within, it narrowed my jurisdiction. Such issues are usually better delivered on by the guild president. But let me tell you, the one chance that I had, which was during the industrial training, when some people had stayed here, I managed to bring a second service provider who in fact outcompeted the current service provider and
Time up.
I managed to bring a service provider during the 3 weeks when I was fully in charge of Chihumuro. And the current service provider who is the only dominant around left. So that is an achievement on my name. Thank you very much.
So my question still goes to better witness. When you were told to introduce yourself, you did not even manage to speak your name. If only you can go back and replay. How sure are we that if we tell you to advocate for us as students, you will even be in position to speak for our, like to give our views, if you were not even in position to speak your name when you were told to introduce yourself? My second question goes to Mugambe Victor. When we're talking about the tuition policy, you said that the less advantaged students should be given an opportunity to do businesses within the university. If those people are less advantaged, who do you think, or who do you want to give them the money to start up the businesses, if at all they even don't have the money to pay for their tuition? Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Let me use the lot on this one. She says, when candidate Better Witness was called on the floor to speak, Better Witness forgot to say he is Better Witness. I was called by my name, so I didn't really need to again tell you I am this. I was called by my name from the outside. But also, let me tell you, one of the candidates attacked me saying I have no moral right to talk about security because I am a person that is siding with the NRM. Let me tell you this. He is a candidate that is sent by the university and he actually rubs it on our face by his necktie. He is a candidate that is funded by our tuition. So if your university can't actually address our security challenges, why can't I go and rob it from the outside? If your university, if your administration can't address our challenges, why can't I rob it from the outside? You rub it in our faces necktie every day.
Time up.
Well, she asked me a question. Well, if what candidate Better Witness is saying is right, that Mr. Mianja is for the administration, then he's also funded by the government of Uganda. Mr. Better Witness is funded by the government of Uganda. You are here. You are using our money. We are competing with you. So. But going back to what the beautiful lady asked me, she didn't hear me well. I said and I reassert, when they give us standards as the student guild, we shall get money as the student guild. The student guild consists of the disadvantaged students. So it's us getting the money, not us just getting money from anywhere else, but us getting the money. So ladies and gentlemen, let nobody lie to you. The name is still, and the name will always be Mugambe
Order. Order. Order, please. Order, order, order.
Hello, hello, hello. Let's give him space. Hello. Hello. Let's allow.
Good evening, House. I would like to ask a question to Mr. Justice. You can first stand up. It's true that you have served as a leader before in loan scheme sponsored students. I have evidence because I'm a student of loan scheme. You served as a leader, whereby you used to collect 5,000 from each and every student for transportation. And we are about 500 students, which is an approximate of 2.5 million. And the question is, when we asked you to produce the accountability, you failed. So, if you fail to account for only 2.5 million, why should we trust you with 75 million of the game?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The person asking the question is even running. So that tells you how speculations and allegations are not always confirmed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, whatever he's talking about is based on hearsay and rumors. And then secondly, you should know my position. You should know my position, whether I even belong to that association apparently. I, Justice Mugenyi, am the very individual who held the leaders in that association. It's me. It's me. Take it from me. It's me. It's me who held these people accountable. I dragged these people to the administration because I wanted them to account for the money that students were paying. I was not holding any position. I'm not in that position anymore. I've never been there and I've never served in that.
Okay. It's the last one.
Hello. Members, I request that we honor the occasion. Members of NUP, please let's take up our seats. And after this, I request the person that has organized this, let us test all the camps and see whether all our members are sober. Because what is going on is uncalled for. Meanwhile, I have a question. And it will go to Honorable Myanja Isaac. Mr. Myanja Isaac, is it true that you're in year 5 medicine? Yes. Mr. Myanja Isaac is in year 5 medicine. So currently today we've come to talk about policies. We have the fees policies, we have the retake policies. And Mr. Myanja has outrightly told us that all these policies are not in order. They have to be changed. My question is that, Mr. Myanja, you've been here now for 5 years, and it is now in your last year that you want to change policies. What have you done from your first year, from first year up to now? What have you done so far to really make us put you in power? What have you done so far before you assume power? What have you done so far to make sure that these policies are right? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, gallant students from Mbarara University of Science and Technology. I'm so fond of my brother Isaac Derrick because he's the president of the chapter. This is the second time he's asking me a question, and I hope we have another debate, and I'll be waiting for another question. So about me being a student of 5th year medicine, yes, that is my position. In my first year, I served in the student guild. And it is on record that they answered. It is on record that they answered. I don't know whether you know what a Hansard means. But if you ask me, I'll explain what a Hansard means. A Hansard has the record of everything I tabled in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, I tabled the mass run. Ladies and gentlemen, I tabled issues of student concern. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 4 years, I've been an advocate. Ladies and gentlemen, for the past 4 years, I've been participating.
Time up, time.
For the past 4 years, I've been participating in any issue about students. I've been participating in anything about students, and I've been there every time I'm called to have it. My brother, there was an allegation that came through. I own a necktie that is branded with a MAS logo. When you check guild presidents of Makerere University, every guild president has a necktie with a MAS logo. Better witness. Are they funded by their government? It's a case of information.
Time up, time up.
Thank you so much for listening to me. I stand to be corrected.
Time up.
Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything. But one, these are our key findings, and this is just our last remarks. One is that all political leaders and candidates had their views. But then, come 4th February, you have the votes, right? Then most of the policies candidates had, you must question yourself, how applicable are they? You must remember that one of the candidates previously in the debate had promised dogs to guard your hostels. Where are they? So, at the end of it all, they will speak. But then, your determinant is the vote. Other than that, maintain peace and harmony.
Hello. I hope we are fine. Everyone is a president, right? Everyone is a president. They have the votes. So I thank you so much for being a cooperative audience. And I thank the president so much for being able to urge you out. Wow. Come 4th February, everyone should come and cast their vote. And the winner shall be announced, right? We wish you very big success. And thank you so much.
We are done. Thank you so much. Okay, so what we are going to do in a nutshell, 1 minute, they come give their closing remarks.
Now, in this debate, there is something that I got. I got some information. On the extreme left, someone claimed it's being funded by the university. It's being funded by our tuition on the extreme left. Here, it's being funded by the government of Uganda. Our own taxing is being funded by UID. It's a little bit understandable. I am being funded by the power of the people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my closing remarks is that I am here to speak to you about what you need to hear, not what you have to hear. I'm not here to gain favors from you, but I'm here to tell you what you need to hear. And what you need to hear, we should evaluate candidates, we should judge candidates based on practicability. I won't promise you fiction and fantasies here, but I'm here to tell you what I can achieve within 6 months. I'll be in office for only 6 months. We have been having leaders who have been promising us. The last person who promised us heaven on earth left us lamenting. Thank you very much because of time.
Yes, thank you. Now, we are talking about the Constitution. Article 9, Section 4 of the Guild Constitution clearly stipulates that no member of the guild who has less than 1 full academic year to cease being a full member of the guild shall be eligible to stand for election for the presidency of the guild. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you in legality, I am the only legally correct candidate to be here. None of these people here has a full academic year left. I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, whatever they are promising, they won't be here to deliver. But I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Mugambe Victor, Kala Kambata will be here to deliver. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It has been an engaging evening. We saw who has ideas and who doesn't. In fact, thank you very much. My name is Witness Beda, and today was a time for us, this was a session for us to pick out men out of. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for showing up today, and I thank you. Come the 4th of Feb, come the 4th of Feb, tick against my name. Don't tick against these people. None of them really understood what the policy is. They all understand policies by the surface value view, but I brought you the real feel of what policies are. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we wind up this interaction, one thing remains. And that is about our conviction. One thing remains, and that is the truth about us. One thing remains, and that is the future of the Student Guild of Mbarara University of Science and Technology. We call upon everybody, wherever they are, to stay the course. Let us not give our ears to naysayers. Let us give our ears to ideas and issues that are built to last. We stand here to determine the future of our institution. We stand here to determine the direction we ought to take as students in terms of personal development, social awareness, economic development, and issues about our academic welfare. Muyanja Isaac calls upon all of us to vote for the gentleman, to vote for the trailblazer, to vote for the man who has been tested and trusted, the man who the past 5 years has been there for students. Thank you so much. Muyanja Isaac remains the name. Succeed we must. Thank you. God bless you.
Hello. All right. Welcome from the debate. That was very interesting. That was so wow. It was just fire. That's what we expected despite all the disturbances that we had in the room. But I got to know people who have ideas and people who are ready to lead. It's now up to the students come 4th February to choose who their right candidate is. What do you think about that, Sankara?
Well, yes, indeed. Thank you very much. You has been watching a Youth TV. This marks the end of the second Guild presidential debate. The well and, very much awaited for. We promised and we are actually delivering. The biggest question of the day remains, who is the right man for the seat? The biggest question of the day remains, who is the man for the next Guild presidency? How did you actually rate this performance?
Oh, this performance, it just left me speechless. Just getting different ideas from different people. Just waiting for who will take it.
Okay, well, this is to again remind you that whoever wins this race will be the 33rd Guild President of Mbarara University of Science and Technology. Who did it better? That can only be answered by students of Mbarara University of Science and Technology on the 4th of Feb 2022. This is Mbarara University of Science and Technology, and this is what usually happens. 4 men up for the grab. I'm telling you, 4 men looking to sit in this. Today, the focus was actually about policies and how different candidates or each candidate actually hopes to, approach different measures, but of course this time diplomatically, because we are talking about policies. You are the Minister of Gender in the outgoing government. Do you think these people here represent what you went through as gender issues actually, matter?
That unfortunately, the policies that were discussed are waited for the policy that belonged actually to my own department, and it was not present. It was not tabled here. But if it had been tabled, then I would be right to say that they are good to go. But they forgot that policy, the gender policy, which is very key and which is very important in every aspect, because we integrate gender in every aspect.
Well, talking about that, you of course have been in government, like we just noted. What could be that very pinpointing policy that, if handled, actually each student would be happy?
According to me, according to the debate, the retake policy.
We're talking about the examination policy.
Yes. It is very crucial because this is for all of us as students, especially in this lockdown where we had online studies. It is something that should be revised to cater for the student success, because we all have to make it. Not every student attended class, but every student did papers. So it should be revised. If I were a leader, or if I were a part of the camp, that's what I would first deal with.
Okay, who can say what and who can say any other thing beyond this? We can only say we only wish the best candidate to win. And of course, here to remind you that this is not the end of the platform, that was given to these contestants. We are expecting a radio talk show, I think this Sunday. These guys should be able to talk to the nation. But later also, before we vote, at least we expect them to have open air campaigns, and that is another very big platform for them to air out their capabilities and abilities. Is it actually about what that these guys are going to consider to vote someone? You could sign out to the viewer with a thanks, of course.
Thank you so much for following AET TV. We love you so much. I remain Bridget in Cementa.
Okay, that's Bridget for you, and I am Sankara Barhanga. Behind the camera, there was Zodi Graphics, but also in the production was Henry Karuga. That's how we do it. This is HTV, and we are absolutely empowering you.
Bye.
You're watching AET TV, empowering you.
The times are back. The mighty university is back to polls. Who is the next guild president of MUST? MUST Guild decides 2022. Don't miss the exclusive coverage of this yet another historical election. Only on
AET TV, empowering you.